We're gonna make a lot of mana here, 8. So we'll do this. Actually, we'll make 2 copies of it because we're making a copy and then Orvar makes a copy because we targeted it. Draw 3 with his protection, sweet. 2 lands back, draw 2, discard 1. Then we get another Cavalier of Gales trigger. I guess we could have ordered those a little bit different. Spark double on Orvar is pretty nuts. I think we go for the win and copy Cavalier of Gales, honestly. Yep. That's a 1/1 with no abilities. That's ours. And attack your face. Orvar coming in with the win, beating one of the best decks in the format. What's up everyone? Welcome back to the Carnarium. I'm Waste and I got another video for you today. We're gonna hop in the queue in a little bit and play some Brawl, and our commander today is Orvar, the All-Form. Orvar is a mono blue commander, so 3 generic, 1 blue, legendary creature shapeshifter with Changeling, which means it's all creature types. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. When a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard this card, create a token that's a copy of target permanent. So this deck wants you to play lots of little creatures and cast instants and sorceries that target them. And when you target them, you create copies of them. We take advantage of this synergy by playing lots of cool creatures that have ETBs, like Aether Chandler and Cloudkin Seer. These creatures usually ETB and give us some kind of advantage, like drawing a card or bouncing a creature an opponent controls. Or in the case of Mind Flayer, we can take control of an opponent's creature, and then make copies of it to take control of all their other creatures. We have lots of 1-mana spells in the deck like Chain to Memory, Chilling Trap, Dazzling Lights, that allow us to target our own creatures, get some kind of benefit, and make copies of them. So the way Orvar wants to work is we kind of play mono blue tempo. We play our ETB creatures, we try to hold the opponent at bay, we get Orvar down, and we start making copies of all our creatures. Eventually we should build up a big enough board and enough card advantage to mono blue tempo the opponent out of the game. But that's enough of me talking. If you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. There's a Discord for the channel if you're interested in joining, submitting deck requests for the channel. Deck list and link for the Discord are in the video description. So let's jump in the queue and see if we can get some wins with Orvar, the All-Form. Alright, we get to go first. We're playing against Cedh, which is one of the best Enchantress decks. Sean, good vibes. We'll find out, Sean, if you're good vibes. Dazzling Lights, Counterspell, Frogify, Glasspool Mimic, no creature. We do get to go first, though. I think we'll keep. This is technically a creature. But since we don't have anything to copy, I think we just play this as a land. Yep. They always play Cedh on turn 2, so we'll... Oh wow, this is genuinely the first Cedh player that hasn't just jammed Cedh immediately. Yeah, I think that's worth counterspelling though, because Lotus Cobra can make them a ton of mana. We can Frogify their commander if they choose to play it. If they have a 1-mana enchantment. I was gonna say if they had a 1-mana enchantment, you know, good for them, but I guess they don't. Commander? This deck does run a lot of exile removal, like enchantment based, like Banishing Light and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that come down. I normally don't recommend jamming Orvar like that, but we didn't really have anything else to do. We could have just held up mana for Castle Vantress. But we'll see if it works out. Yep. Doing all the things. Okay. So I think we definitely got to... We kind of need to Frogify both these things. Cedh is going to draw them a ton of cards. This is going to get gigantic, even if we Frogify it. So I'm just going to spend this turn making some copies. That's an instant. That's an instant. Maybe we just let them have this. I mean, it has lifelink, which is annoying, but if we turn off Sithis, that does turn off their card draw. It also makes them have one less enchantment, which is kind of funny. Because Sithis is an enchantment, but not anymore. It's a frog. 1/1 frog. 84 absences. Okay. Sure. We've angered the beast. I'm surprised they didn't just kill their own Sithis, honestly. No blocks. We'll take the 5. I guess we can save that for later and make them replay everything. We'll just rejam Orvar. If it sticks, great. If it doesn't, we can River's Rebuke. We're not going to block with Cloudkin Seer, so we might as well attack. Right now we only have 2 Devotion to Blue, so Nykthos is not really online. Okay. Backup Enchantress card draw. This does make it so their creatures and enchantment spells can't be countered, which is pretty good. They can replay Sithis. Do we care? No, I don't think we care. Take 6. They don't replay it. Interesting. Okay. So we can River's Rebuke and keep up 1 mana to copy the Cloudkin Seer. Do we wait 1 more turn? Do we greed a little harder? Probably not. Yeah, probably not. So now their commander costs 4 again, because it's not being discounted. Sure. Destiny Spinner. Sithis. Okay. 1 mana left, and then they have to discard the hand size. Okay. Make a copy, draw a card. Surveil 2. Land, and what is this? Eaten by piranhas. Flash. Enchant creature. Loses all abilities. Probably good against Sithis, right? Do it like that. So copies do have a mana cost, so technically we have 3 devotion right now. See right there, it says 3. I think Eaten by Piranhas also counts towards our devotion. It does. Beautiful. This creature enters, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an instant sorcery card. Let's try it. 3 mana, 2/2. Flyer. Decline. So we'll discard these 2. I guess we'll crack the clue and hold up Rookie Mistake. Ravenform is nice. Do we attack with the Orvar? They might double block it. It's a risk. I think we just keep it safe for now. We're a little ahead, but not by much. Don't want to get cocky. This deck is super powerful. It's one of the most powerful decks in the format. Aha! Well, the Ravenform will be nice for that. Let's go ahead and do this now before we get punished for it. Let's just... This is draw 2, but then we have to discard 2. It's fine. Discard a sorcery or creature card with flying. Well, I think we can get rid of you. That's fine. Nasty, nasty mono green card. If you've never seen this before, it's whenever you tap a land for mana, it doesn't untap during your next untap step. So it's like a stacks. It's like a mono green stacks creature. So we're gonna have to lose some lands next turn no matter what. See, we're gonna get punished here, but we have to do this. There's no way around it. And we want to do it while they have no mana up because green runs protection spells and stuff like that. So let's oh, I guess I have to resolve these first. So resolve, resolve, resolve. Here's a 1/1. Okay. Now, since these are all copies, we have Devotion 6. So we can still play Cavalier of Gales. Which is 5 mana, so we'll still have 2 mana left over. 3 Steps Ahead's not as good with Destiny Spinner because we can't counter stuff. We'll put the 2 lands back on top. That's fine. And then we can Callous Dismissal something. Or we can do the Emporium Thopterist. I think we Callous Dismissal. Put that back, make them spend mana on it again, and attack all. Make them block. Okay. So we got rid of one of the best cards in their deck. Their Sithis now costs 6. Now it costs 5. Eidolon. It's so good that Eidolon triggers itself. Because it is an enchantment. It says whenever enchantment enters, you draw a card. So good. Destiny Spinner, which is also an enchantment. Okay. And now that's a 5/5. Maybe I should have bounced their flyer. Maybe that would have been better. Because that is our path to victory, is in the air. We just go super wide in the air. Although we do have a Cavalier of Gales, so we have our own 5/5. But this thing's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Okay. So these don't untap because of Vorinclex. We can create a copy of Cavalier of Gales and draw 2 cards and then discard a card. Probably the right call. We're gonna make a lot of mana here. 8. So we'll do this. Actually, we'll make 2 copies of it because we're making a copy and then Orvar makes a copy because we targeted it. Draw 3. Witness Protection? Sweet. I guess we'll put the 2 lands back even though we're just gonna get another trigger. Or no, we'll draw 2, discard 1. Then we get another Cavalier of Gales trigger. I guess we could have ordered those a little bit different. Spark Double on Orvar is pretty nuts. We still have 3/4 mana left over. Do it like that. We'll keep the fairy on top. Play the island. Take control of their Eidolon, so they stop drawing cards. I think we just copy what? I think we go for the win and copy Cavalier of Gales, honestly. The land's back. It's fine. That way we have another Cavalier. So if they want to block the 5/5 with their 5/5, they can. We have a backup. We technically have 3 backups, but we have like an actual copy backup. Okay, so can they kill me this turn through a 4/4, 2 5/5s, and a 6/6? Not likely. We can steal something next turn, which will remove a blocker for them. I kind of have a feeling they can't attack with this because they need to keep it back as a blocker. They might try to just play a bunch of enchantments to make this really big. A Rasta, is that what you... Yeah, a Rasta has reach and a big butt. So it's not over yet. But we can Witness Protection the Arasta, make it lose all its abilities. And then just go wide enough to swing around the 7/7. Okay. It might just be a math is for blockers moment, honestly. I think we're at that point of the game. It is really annoying that they're gaining life with Sithis. Because they were at 7. They were at 7, so I don't think this triggers, right? It has to be 3 or more life. Did they run out of steam? They have 2 mana open. They must have another enchantment for 2 mana. Nope, that's 4 mana. That's 3. So you have to gain 1 more life, I think, to make the creature. Yeah, we definitely won't cast an instant or sorcery, because... Yeah, there you go. So, there's the 3, so they'll make a flying 2/2. Okay, maybe they can get one more enchantment down and gain another life. Anything else have reach here? No, just this guy. And, this is not an instant or sorcery. Oh, borrowed time. I wonder what they take. Orvar? That would be the wrong choice, in my opinion. Yeah, they should definitely take the 6/6. Okay. Alright, so... I think we still got this, though. They have a 10/10. They're at 11. So they can block 1 flyer, right, if we get rid of these 2. So we can take control of the 2/2 and we can turn this into a 1/1 with no abilities. Essentially removing all the blockers except for this 1. And then we're coming at them with 2, 4... in the air. So 4, 6... plus 15 is 21. I don't think they can do anything about that. So let's... Right, it's instants and sorceries? Yeah. Yep. That's a 1/1 with no abilities. That's ours. Choose a ring bearer? Sure, we'll make this unblockable, that's fine. And attack your face. Mono blue tempo. Orvar coming in with the win. Beating one of the best decks in the format. Yeah, it can't block anymore. Sure. Put all your dudes on Orvar. Yeah, sure. GG. GG, Sean. You were good vibes. You were. Alright, we did a first. We're playing against Quality Toad, and they're playing Sob Sunnin, which is the new god from the Aetherdrift set. Reach, trample, indestructible. Can't attack or block unless it has an even number of counters on it, and 0 is even. At the beginning of your first main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on Sob Sunnin. Then if it has an odd number of counters, draw 2 cards. So they're probably trying to manipulate the amount of counters on it so they can get both modes each turn. Yeah, mana drain on the commander is pretty good since it's indestructible. Cantrip. I guess, yeah, I think this is keepable. How much mana is their commander? It's 5 mana, but they are in Simic, so... You know, Simic can ramp out 5 mana spells on turn 3 if they want. Another counter, okay. I guess we'll just represent counterspell, why not? King Signet. Yeah, I mean, we could mana drain it and get the mana and then play Orvar. Decent. Yeah. What? Come on, you're a blue deck too. What happened? Where are your cojones? Just gonna run away like that? Shame. All right, opponent gets to go first. We're playing against Grum Valsky, 85, playing Zamon and Dina. Is this hand keepable? Mana drain? Mana drain's good. We'll keep. We'll have 2 blue mana by the time they want to play their commander. I guess we'll chain to memory and scry 2 on their turn. I guess if they play a land here, they can get their commander out, huh? That would be pretty good for them. Fountain Port, solve the equation. We'll definitely take solve the equation. I imagine they play their commander here. No. Ramp. Well, why not? We'll take the 3 free mana. While they get none. Okay. Solemn seems pretty good here. So we can play it, go get a land, do a little mono blue ramping, splash portal, go get another land. That's the turn. We can solve the equation for one of our mass bounce spells if we want, and then we can counter everything on the way back down. Sylvan Tutor. Kind of scary. Okay, they go get an alchemy card. Surprise, surprise. Right. We can callous dismissal and then 3 steps ahead. Like a 1/1. Pass the turn. They don't have any blue mana, which is something to keep our eye on. So if we get rid of this Birds of Paradise somehow, I don't know how, but if we get rid of it, they lose all their blue mana. Okay, nick those. We can Orvar and solve the equation. Yep. Okay. What do we get here? Originally I was thinking of a mass bounce spell, but now I'm kind of thinking we should draw some cards because we're empty-handed. I think we'll take Sublime Epiphany. It's like the most value for mana, you know? Can't stop their commander coming down next turn. We'll attack with the Solemn. Is that good? Because they can double block. Let me draw a card. No. I think we want to keep it as a copy target. If I had some other creature that drew cards or something, that'd be fine. But if we lose the Solemn, then our only creature to copy is this 1/1 that does absolutely nothing. So not great. Sublime Epiphany can counterspell an activated ability, return a non-land permanent to its owner's hand, create a copy of a target creature you control, and make us draw a card. We don't have to choose all those modes, but we can if they all apply. So it looks like it might. Next turn, they might try to play their commander. Okay, we have 7 mana, so we can definitely cast this. Make a copy of the Solemn. Ramp ourselves. Draw a card. Sink into Stupor. So this can't be blocked. So we'll go ahead and attack with it. End the turn, hold up Sublime Epiphany. Let's see what they do. They could go to combat first. Try to get an Oracle trigger to scry 1. They could try to play their commander here. They seem pretty eager to jam their commander, so wouldn't be surprised if that's what they do. Binding. Okay, I mean, that's a pretty good target too. So counter that, turn a non-land permanent, create a copy, and draw a card. So we're going to return a non-land permanent. Do we really want to return this? Because then they're going to shuffle another set of Power 9 into their deck. We can get rid of this, which would make the aura go away. Yeah, I think that's the right call. Target creature I control, we'll make a copy of Solemn, and then we'll draw a card. So we got plenty of mana, we just need cards. We'll get to draw one here. A land. Okay, it's enough lands. Good on the lands. I mean, we may not just have to start attacking with these just to allow them to die so we can draw some cards. It's a lot of Birds of Paradise. Oracle, yep. Scry 2. Or Scry 1, rather. Scry 2 would be busted, but wouldn't be that surprised. Alright, sure. Hopefully we draw into a targeted instant sorcery. We do. I think we discard the Sink into Stupor. Yeah. I should have attacked with Orvar too. Maybe not. Because they could have triple blocked it. Down to 10. Yeah, okay. End the turn. Simone and Dina. Yeah, I think we have to. Alright, they had enough. They had enough. We were on the ropes there, though. I mean, if they could see our hand, I mean, we have a Teferi's Time Twist, so we'll be able to bounce something. Probably the Steamcore just to draw up some more cards, but we are in no way, like, a complete winning position. We only have one card in hand, but I get it. Counterspells got to them. GG. Alright, we have to go first. We're playing against Oros and Queen Kayla Ben Krug. I've never seen this card before, ever. I guess it was in Brothers War. Boros Commander, 4 mana tap, discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. You may choose an artifact or creature card with mana value 1. You discard this way, then do the same for artifact or creature cards with mana value 2 and 3. Return those cards to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Wow, I don't know why I've never seen that card before. That's actually kind of a cool ability. Alright, cantrip. Yeah, I think this is good. I think we keep. Fountain Port's a nice little value land. This thing have haste? Okay. If we play this, then they get to draw a card. It is what it is. Had to be an Esper Sentinel, didn't it? What is it? First non-creature spell. Yeah. We just get this down. Mind Stone. Okay, they're just ramping. Wait for a bubble, ramping. So we can turn off their Esper Sentinel. We can just play this guy and draw some cards. think that's better. I guess Aetherize, right? Okay, another commander. Oh. Okay, Air Archway, sure. So we could bounce everything, and they would only have... Well, they'd have 4 mana, but they would lose their Mind Stone and Wayfarer's Bauble, because they haven't cracked them yet. Do we do that? We could also just get this taken care of. Probably the correct play. I think we have to pay, right? Back in. Solar Transformer. Okay. Another Mana Rock. Chromatic Star. I guess it makes sense because of their commander. I was like, why are they playing all these Mana Rocks? But their commander, the way it's designed, incentivizes them to do that. Draw a card. Make a mana. It's a good play. I respect that. Turn the mana into an actual land. Okay. So. Orvar. Target creature gets +0/+2. Is Wash Away good anymore now that we've clamped down their commander? Probably not. Now we gotta remember that if this thing flips, it's gonna bounce everything, including our copies. It won't bounce Orvar because it is technically a horror. What'd they just do? I missed that. Oh, they gave it -5/-5. Okay, sure. That's fine. Animation module. Can combo with certain cards, so we have to keep an eye on that. Okay. Alright. Sounds good. Guess we just play Orvar. Back in. God Pharaoh statue, sure. We can... Everything costs 2 more because of God Pharaoh statue, but we can still Mulldrifter here. Won't be able to do much else, but... I think that's good. We can always bounce this with Callous Dismissal. And right now we're ahead on board in the sense that we're putting pressure on them. They have all these little trinkets and stuff, but they're not really synergistic with each other. It's kind of just a bunch of random artifacts. Fox Amber. Okay, that's a good one. Worn Power Stone, sure. More mana. Do we have lethal? If we... So 2, 4, 7, 9. 6 of which is in the air. So we can bounce their commander. We can take control of their commander as well. Yeah, I mean... Unless they have a solution to that, you know? I mean, they are in white. They could have a board wipe. But if they don't wipe this turn, they're just dead. What does this do? Beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, give this indestructible. Sure, Chamil into a board wipe. No, Quintorius. I think you're still dead. Callous Dismissal. Your dude. And attack all. Did we mono blue tempo you out? Orvar. Coming in clutch, going wide. GG. Alright, deck review. So, Orvar. Orvar is really sweet. It's a mono blue commander, but it doesn't really play like a mono blue deck. You know, it plays more like a tempo deck. Kind of like fairies or something like that, except you're making copies, so it kind of feels like a red deck. Kind of like a Izzet copy deck. It's hard to describe. It's very unique in the mono blue landscape. Nothing really quite like it, but it's super fun. I imagine in Commander it'd be even more fun because you have access to even more types of instants and sorceries across Magic's history that are weird and janky. This deck kind of really wants those weird 1 mana target your own stuff kind of spells, and I'm sure there are a lot more out there than exist on Arena. But it is interesting. You know, the deck requires you to have a lot of those, so you can see all those, you know, target your own stuff cards right here. You know, since you're playing 1v1, you have to have a lot of, you know, ways of stopping the opponent from doing the thing that they want. And then you have to have enough targets for your spells. So you have to have creatures, ideally with ETBs that give you value. So you have to have like a balance of all those things in order for this deck to work. And there were times where it felt like I had too many of one thing and not enough of the other, right? I either had too many creatures or I had too many target spells. So maybe this version isn't perfectly tuned yet. You know, I'm definitely not going to claim that it is, but it's one of the deck building challenges of Orvar. You have to have a blend of both, and you have to have both in order for Orvar to work. However, if you can get Orvar down, and you can get like a Roaming Throne down, and you can start making copies of Roaming Throne, or copies of Cavalier of Gales, it goes insane, and it goes extremely wide, and it kind of turns into this aggro deck, you know, mid-range kind of aggro deck where you go from, you know, Orvar and one little Skyscanner to, you know, 5 Skyscanners and a bunch of other stuff. So this deck is super fun. I definitely recommend trying it out, especially if you're someone who doesn't like mono blue, but you've always wanted to, you know, try it. Maybe not in like the, you know, counterspell.deck kind of shell, but something different from that, something, you know, unique. I would give Orvar a try. Orvar is definitely unique in the mono blue landscape. There's nothing else quite like it. And, you know, this deck, because it's, you know, you're using a lot of creatures that are like Skyscanners, there are a lot of commons in the deck, so it's probably cheap to build, you know. Of course I do have my fair share of mythics and stuff in here, but you don't really have to do that. You could run a bunch of these little, you know, ETB trigger commons and probably do just as well. A lot of these target your own stuff spells are commons as well, so you could probably build a really inexpensive version of this deck, which, you know, if you're looking to get into Brawl on Arena and this deck, you know, seems like something you want to try, but you're on a budget, this might be a good way to go. Otherwise, I really like Orvar. I try to revisit Orvar at least once a year because I feel like, you know, they keep pumping out cards that help support the deck on Arena. And I definitely feel like it's gotten better since the last video I made on Orvar. The deck feels like it's working a little bit better, but I do think that maybe just in the card selection there's room for improvement. So I'll leave that to you. Deck list is in the description. Link to the deck list on Moxfield is also in the description. So let me know what you thought. Let me know, you know, down in the comments if there was something I missed, if I have too many of a certain kind of spell, if you think that there's some kind of, you know, creature or some other kind of value permanent that I missed putting in the deck. I'm sure I did. It's hard to keep track of all the cards on Arena. Yeah, let me know down in the comments what you thought of Orvar and the way that I built it. I definitely had fun playing it. It's definitely a weird play style too. I mean, really the way that the deck wants to work is you don't really want to play Orvar on turn 4 on curve. That's just kind of a recipe for disaster. You're asking the opponent to remove it, and then Orvar costs 6 mana and you're already behind. What you really want to do is spend the first couple turns getting down some of your little dorks, and then setting up so that you have enough mana, maybe on turn 5, if you didn't ramp, to play Orvar and one of your targeted instants and sorceries. That way you can play Orvar and guarantee you're going to get some kind of value out of it, because most people are going to try to remove your commander in Brawl, and if you just play Orvar on turn 4 naked with no protection, you know, like, 'cause a lot of these targeted spells, they do protect your commander, or like this one gives hexproof, right? There's other ones that phase out. If you just play it on turn 4 with no open mana, you're just asking for it to get removed, and then you're basically out of the game. So I feel like the trick to this deck is building up your board in the first 4 turns, so that when you have 5 or more mana, then you can play Orvar, and hopefully you have one of these copy spells in your hand and you can start going to town. Because if you can play, like, if you have 6 mana and you can play Orvar and get 2 of these spells off on, like, a Solemn Simulacrum, or, you know, the Skyscanner even, or one of the other cards like Serum Visionary, Steamcore that draws 2 cards, like, your deck starts to get really, really good. I mean, not to mention if you can, like, copy a Roaming Throne a couple times, then you get multiple triggers. So it's really worth it to kind of like stockpile and save up to play Orvar, and then just have one explosive turn that the opponent can't come back from. If you try to, like, do a little bit here, a little bit there, it can work. We saw that in some of the games, but it also doesn't launch you ahead in the game either. And that's what Orvar has the potential to do, like, really launch you ahead of your opponent if you play him right. But it's really easy to play him wrong. So that'd be my main piece of advice if you're playing this deck. Don't slam Orvar down the second you have enough mana to do it. Really try to set up for Orvar, and then play Orvar when you can also chain a bunch of other spells together and make a bunch of copies of your stuff. So that's the deck. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, join the Discord if you want. I do take deck requests, so if you want me to play your favorite commander, go ahead and join the Discord. There's a requested deck channel on there. Pop in there and let me know what you want me to play. Otherwise, like I said, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.